Next, we need the approval of minutes from the January 10th, 2022 meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve. Chairman, I second.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Johnny Garner and a second by Commissioner Jerry Emerson. Any discussion of the minutes? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, we have the Harpa and COVID-19 results. This was a survey put out in which we had good participation in. We did it with our commissioners and with the public. It was done at the time, and the end of it was in January the 31st. All people haven't spoken yet on things that we could and possibly use the funding for. And tonight we're having some more come and explain their need for funding that could be used through this ARPA fund. But as of that date, we have the priorities between the commissioners and the public, which both of them give generally the same thing, but maybe in just a different order. The commission's order was the broadband on both surveys was the #1 thing, and it was explained that broadband would be for covering the whole county. And it being needed for education and for even job application for people that works at home, which we would like to see it as soon as possible spread throughout the whole county. That on both surveys was #1. Next on the commissioner's part was the TCAT Center, the library, transfer station, the Agri Center, water in the east end of the county, Dixie Youth, and Carl Perkins. On the public side, also we have the broadband as #1. Dixie Youth was #2. Library was #3. TCAT, Carl Perkins, and Agri Center, which we're going to set up committees, and I'll be assigning them before our next commission meeting. And we'll be looking into possibly, if used wisely in all things, we might could provide funding for all these needs in the county. But next, addressing the county, this being for the sheriff, we have Sheriff Blair Weaver.
Good evening. I'll be brief. I'm asking the commission tonight to abolish the office of constable. When Mark Davidson was sheriff and Troy Kilford was mayor, this commission was open to abolish their law enforcement power. That virtually just does away with any usefulness that they have. Their liability is not controlled by anybody with a vote. They go through very little training if they decide to go through the training. When the law enforcement power was abolished, it's only the simple reason that the whole office was abolished was out of respect of Babe Ruth and Snoop Mann. And they helped us, and they did. They were helped us win ball games. They helped us with parades. They helped us with whatever. Now we have SROs in the schools. We do what we do our job, and we have a reserve deputy program that help us when we need help. We were at Henderson several years ago looking for a job, and we sent out a teletyper through our NCIC here to request help. Literally within 12 hours, we had 300 plus certified officers from the state to help us. If we need help, we need. We also, since 2009, we signed a mutual aid agreement with all the surrounding counties to come help us if we have a disaster or anything else. And we went ourselves. We sent them to Waverly, we sent them to Connecticut. We went every time we've been asked, because we know this coming back to us. Again, it's just a liability that this county don't need. They like to answer to anybody. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
I make a motion to honor Sheriff Weaver's request.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion to honor the, motion to abolish the constables. Would that need to be a roll call vote? We have a motion by Commissioner Tim Crow and a second by Commissioner Joe Malaro. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Is there any opposed to not having constable? Any discussion? If not, resolution passed.
This has to be heard, two meetings, consecutive meetings, so I'll bring it back up to the next meeting, and I have a resolution, I didn't write it down because it's not meeting, but I have a resolution, we just have to put the minutes with the final discussion. Thank you.
Oh, Blair, I got a question now. They're on the ballot.
And I don't know about that, there's something Kathy will have to answer.
Okay.
If the position is abolished, it will just be taken off the
Okay.
ballot.
Next on addressing the commission is the Vice President of Technical Operations, Mr. Billy Gordon, and with the list, Mr. Stephen Cole.
Hey, I've been before this commission several times. Stephen has been here several times as well. I believe the email that was sent out earlier and distributed to you all was pretty self-explanatory. What we're looking for is some support from the county. It is not at this point as much about the financial support as it is the opportunity to be able to show the state of Tennessee that Chester County is behind this project. With the county support in the form of a resolution, irregardless of the monies allocated, we get additional points on the grant. We actually get 15 additional points. There are 10 points there for broadband-ready communities. The chamber did that many years ago. There are 15 points there for local matching of ARP funds and community support. That's what we're looking for. To date, I've been to 5 different counties over the last 2 weeks, and I've received resolutions from 5 of those. All of the counties we serve in the rural areas feel very passionate about being able to serve broadband to the community. Our project is going well, and we're going to continue to do construction, but we just want to make sure that we are submitting that grant application on March 15th with as many potential points as we can get.
I have a question. Madison County is not helping us with reviews, even on TV today, saying no monies are needed to, they're going to expand broadband to the whole Madison County with no cost to the taxpayers. Are they, do you know how that's being done? Are they just because they're using ARPA funds, or is it because somehow they don't have to match?
So the resolution that Madison County passed today, I've been through 2 committee meetings, and today was the full body. They pledged 10% or $150,000 to lesser of in an effort to see rural broadband. So I haven't seen the news report from today, but that's right, that is no additional expense on the county or to the taxpayers of the county because it's treasury monies that are matching the grant.
Also, Henderson County, didn't Henderson County pledge 10%?
Henderson County pledged 10% or $500,000.
I have questions also. Before these grants come out, is your company planning on doing these builds anyway?
Yes, sir, that's right. We are obligated by the state of Tennessee law to do so. That law changed in 2017. Obviously, if we receive grants, that puts those projects ahead of others because we have a contract with the state of Tennessee that we have to fulfill in a specific time frame. So naturally, where we get grants, we'll get the focus of our construction forces. And if anybody's trying to buy materials or find labor nowadays, it is really tough to find. So we got to make sure we hit those goals with the state and show them our appreciation for the grants.
I got another question. I know you're talking about doing over the Southwest Electric area, and I know Commissioner Clayton has mentioned several times rolling out people in the particular area, and searched by people who have people searched by JEA. Do you have some type of answer to that question.
I do, so, we have tried our best to respect boundaries of our neighbor and to give Pickwick Electric an opportunity to decide what they need to do for their electric membership. I talked with John Bowers, the president at Pickwick Electric today, and his engineering and operations staff, and had confirmation from him that they do not appear at this time to be moving forward with the project, and have pledged any help that they can offer to us to see that Chester County is served by Southwest entirely.
May I add to that, I checked recently with Handicapped County. I didn't talk to him, but I did talk to the mayor. He talked to it. The area I live in was left out. That's the Hickory area. They had the Enville area covered, so Pickwick come in, and all of that part of the county down on the south side. But when they come up to our, in the southwest, it was left out. Now, the only thing I can say, we could eventually get it, but that is on we. Have you got an update about that?
So what I'm including in my grant application for Chester County is the monies needed to construct in the Pickwick electric areas.
It's not what you've already got up on the southwest part.
That is correct.
So this is all the areas in Chester County on Pickwick.
Every grant area that's eligible in Chester County is included in this next grant, Pickwick or Southwest.
Well, the reason I'm really interested in this, broadband, the main purpose is virtual training for our kids. And when you get out into the Woodville area in our part of the county, you have no services as far as broadband.
And that's the commitment that we've made. So the same way with Pickett County and Haywood County, we're working with Chickasaw Electric to try to make sure we can provide services for all the kids in the Haywood County School District. There's a section of Haywood County that's served by Chickasaw Electric, so we're working with them as well. Because we recognize, especially with sending kids home from school or someone trying to do an online degree after hours, that's really, really important, irregardless of who their electric provider is. So we're trying to make a commitment to each of the counties we serve to provide unilateral coverage across the entire county, just to make sure that everyone has coverage.
Same thing for the north part of the county out by Bickford and the areas there, part of them are on Henderson County.
I think they're all either going to be Southwest Electric or the very far east may be Lexington Electric. So another part of that is going southeast that we've included. It's Pickwick served going kind of down for Village, down that direction. That's a Pickwick area. And so we're going to submit for grant funding for that as well.
And some of these areas are going to be going into, I know AT&T's is spreading pretty deep into the county. I know where I go to church out of Cave Springs, we got AT&T fiber just in the last couple of months. So some of the rural area is being serviced now by AT&T.
Right.
The way I read this, correct me if I'm wrong, if we match what Henderson County and Madison County has at 10%, that'd be $144,000.
That's right.
You got strong.
We do appreciate the job that y'all are doing in trying to help provide internet all through our county though. So we do need to get a resolution to pledge an amount where we can get it on your grant correctly. We need to do that tonight.
That's correct. And in that email and in the attachment, I provided some samples. Some counties have done 10%, some counties have done 5%. Like I said, the main thing for us is to have to support the county. We want the county to be united behind our project. And we want to support the project because we want to show the state of Tennessee that this is a region-wide project and that the officials of the county support it just as well as the citizens do.
Would you mind if I put the copy of your letter on our website and our county Facebook page?
No, that's fine.
Thank you. We'll do that soon.
Any other questions?
Would anyone like to make a motion to pledge? Sir, make a motion for what amount?
10%.
The 10% being 144,000?
That's right.
We have a motion to place the 10% for the rest remaining of our Chester County. Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a second. We have a second motion by Commissioner Jackie Butler, second by Commissioner Al McKinnon. Is there any discussion more? If not, all in favor, roll call. We'll have a roll call.
Johnny Garner.
Yes.
Jerry Lowe.
Yes.
Kevin Faulkner.
Yes.
Al McKinnon.
Yes.
Andrea Holland.
Yes.
Jackie Butler.
Yes.
Ann Moore.
Yes.
Carolyn Higgins.
Yes.
Russell Clayton.
Yes.
Jerry Emerson.
Yes.
Sandra Hires.
Yes.
Joseph Malera.
Yes.
Barry Smith.
Yes.
Tim Crow.
Yes.
Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Mike Alexander.
Yes.
Terry Bell.
Yes.
Todd Lewis.
Yes.
18-4.
Next on the agenda, we have the Regional Director of the Tennessee Department of Health for our area, Ms. Emily Rush.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for your time this evening. I'll be brief as well. I wanted to present to you an opportunity to do some updates and remodeling of the Chester County Health Department. It is a county-owned facility that was built the mid to late 90s without any significant remodeling or overhaul since then. The state is willing to put in 75% of this project. We're looking at $495,500. So the 25% from Chester County would be $123,900, the 25% match. We're looking at an electronic sign to, people can be more visible from the main road. We need a complete overhaul of our 4 bathrooms. Our clerical area was built before computers were utilized, in our day-to-day lives like they are now, so we need to completely overhaul that area. Today was an example of, we need some big-time roof maintenance. We need new flooring, new paint. So this is an opportunity to get $500,000 worth of work to the building for just 25% cost of the county. Any questions?
Would anyone like to make a motion?
Well, I'd like to say, during all this COVID, everything, y'all did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Getting everybody vaccinated. It went smooth.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion, give them 25%.
We have a motion by Commissioner Al McKinnon. We have a second.
I second. Let's capture that as a man.
Yeah, because we all know how architect stuff run, and that's with any project, somebody coming up there asking for money. I mean, it's gonna be, once we sit here and give all this money away, it's gonna be hard to come back a year from now, we've had cost overrun, we need more money.
And the county will have a lot of autonomy in making those architect decisions. It's not a state decision.
Can we retract that motion and make it for a certain amount?
What amount do you need?
$123,900.
I'll make a motion for that amount.
$123,900. We have a motion. Calling for a second for that motion.
I'll second.
I got two.
Commissioner Jackie Butler seconds. Any other questions for Ms. Rushing?
One question, is this coming out of COVID money, or is this coming out of general?
Yes, we have.
This is good.
It is one of the expenses that can be covered under the coverage money. Roll call.
Johnny Garner.
Yes.
Jerry Lowe.
Yes.
Kevin Faulkner.
Yes.
Al McKinnon.
Yes.
Andrea Holland.
Yes.
Jackie Butler.
Yes.
Ann Moore.
Yes.
Carolyn Higgins.
Yes.
Russell Clayton.
Yes.
Jerry Emerson.
Yes.
Sandra Hires.
Yes.
Joseph Malera.
Yes.
Barry Smith.
Yes.
Tim Crow.
Yes.
Diane Jordan.
Yes.
Mike Alexander.
Yes.
Terry Bell.
Yes.
Todd Lewis.
Yes.
18-4.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have the Executive Director of the Elections Commission, Ms. Kathy Best.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to come tonight and share with you about a very significant need that the county has. First of all, while Stephanie's passing out some information that you'll have there, this is some information that we gleaned about our current situation with the election office, and you also see some pictures there to help you to understand a little bit about what's going on there. The people in this room know probably better than anyone the importance of having safe and accurate, secure elections. And especially in today's political climate, you pretty much have to count that something's going to happen. And so we pride ourselves on conducting elections that are above reproach. And we want to continue to do that. And so this is why we are coming to you tonight asking you for an improved election facility. The Department of Homeland Security, which is where the election office reports through, came and did an audit recently of our facility, and to quote the auditor, he said, "You're doing the best you can do with what you've got." But he was gravely concerned about what he saw. You'll note in your packet of information, some of the comments, anything that's in blue came straight from the Department of Homeland Security audit that we received. And I'm not going to go over every one of these, but I do want to go over some of them to just try to help you to understand a little bit about what we're facing. The first one is, you'll notice that our voting equipment is currently stored in 3 separate slots. And so the storage space is extremely small. If you look at one of those pictures on page 3, you'll notice that you actually cannot even walk into the room. You just kind of have to slide in sideways and try to get everything out of there. We have 7 separate spaces. Some of those are closets, one of them is a jail cell. But none of it is in a big enough space to accommodate what we need right now. And so if you look on page 3, you can see the pictures of the way we have things stored right now. Now, the auditor told us that what they need from us is to be able to audit once a week to make sure that all of the equipment is accounted for. Without taking everything out, there's no way that could possibly happen. And you'll even see one of those pictures, this happened recently actually, because we weren't in the building, we don't know what happened, but somehow the equipment fell over. And you'll see in that one picture where the poll tags, we don't know if something hit a wall, we're not sure. But those 3 pieces of equipment that's laying there on the floor, that alone would have cost the county about $5,000 to replace. Thankfully, it was not damaged in this fall. We have to conduct pre-election logistics and accuracy testing, where we vote for every candidate on every machine and then secure it and seal it. Well, right now we don't have any place to do that, so we do it in the main hallway of the courthouse. We have to do it on a weekend, because obviously you can't do it when everybody's around. Well, certain things that we have to consider. First of all, the courthouse, I'm not real sure what the key control policy is of it, but I know there's a lot of people in and out of here. Juvenile services is scheduled to be here anytime, evenings, weekends, whatever, and we actually have 2 candidates that have keys to the courthouse this year, where we'll be having everything staged to test. So that's a new challenge for us. And you can see, again, on page 4, you see what it looks like when we are trying to do this testing, how crowded it is. It's not secure, and the lighting is horrible. Because we're trying to verify numbers, we're trying to look at serial numbers. We actually generally have to do that with a flashlight, trying to audit the equipment. We also have, you can see a picture of when we try to do preventive maintenance. That had to be done during the week, or else it would cost the county about $2,500 a day if we tried to do it on the weekend. So we're trying to issue petitions with equipment in our office, and people couldn't even get into our office. The other thing, and this was actually the first thing that the auditor noticed, was that we have sensitive and high-value voting equipment that is not protected from the elements. As we're loading it, we load it at the back of the courthouse. You can see on page 6 how we do it. When we're testing, we have to bring it across between buildings. We load it, there's no canopy or anything, so far, thankfully, a lot of prayer, it hasn't rained on the day we deliver equipment, but we don't have any control over that. If it rains, if it's coming in a hailstorm, whatever it is, we're still gonna have to deliver that equipment. It's just gonna have to be subjected to the weather. You'll also see that the pavement, where we're trying to load it in and out of, is very uneven. These are top-heavy machines. It would take much for them to tip over and break. And these, you remember this has been an ongoing issue since we got our new voting equipment, and we got the equipment at no cost to the county. However, if we damage it and it has to be replaced, that's a whole other story. And we're talking about over $250,000 worth of equipment that we have to keep in mind. We also, you will notice that we've had some issues. If you look on page 7, where we've tried to store it, and so these are some things that we're having to deal with. We have dealt with flooding in the past. You can see our equipment in flooded rooms. We've dealt with where that flooding took place. There's ceiling damage now, so we can only put stuff in certain parts of the room because the ceiling's falling in. And we've had a real bad issue in the annex with mold that we're still trying to deal with. And I know that what we want to do with the funds we have is to serve as many people as we possibly can. Keep in mind, we have nearly 11,000 registered voters in Chester County that are going to come in and out of our facility. This year alone, that's the potential for 33,000 people to be in and out of our office. As we think about COVID, we faced this in the last time, and I'm sure we will again. It is impossible to socially distance people and trying to do the election that we have. We have 572 square feet of space to put 15 to 17 people, 2 check-in stations, 8 voting stations, a scanner, and all of our permanent records. For reference, that's the same amount of space that's on this riser where y'all are. So if you can imagine trying to have all of that equipment, voters and people being social distance. Another thing that we face is voters having to stand in line to wait. Y'all know what our early voting looks like. They have to stand in line outside, regardless of what the weather is. And you can see pictures on page 8 of our voters doing just that. Keep in mind, we do voting, normally early voting is in February, in July, and in October. So you can imagine what the weather could be at that time. And there's no place for people to go other than outside. Another issue that we've got is the Handicapped Building, or the Annex Building, and its Handicapped Accessibility. It is handicap accessible, but because of the distance and the configuration of it, it's still a challenge for anybody to get in. If y'all are familiar with the building, if not, there's a picture in here for you that shows exactly how the handicap accessibility works for that building. There are 2 places to park, handicap parking. If you could park in one, it's 188 feet to get into the building. If you park in the other one, it's 110 feet. It's a little over half of a football field, up an incline. So what we find is people ask for assistance. Our poll officials assist. The average age of our poll officials is 76. So most of our poll officials are probably needing as much assistance as the people that are trying to come in. It's also the way it's configured, it's hard to get into with a wheelchair. And what we've had happen is people decide they want to go down the steps because they don't want to walk that far, and they fall. And we actually did have one situation where we had to have someone transported by ambulance because of a fall in those front steps. So that's certainly a significant liability for us. Another thing that we want to think about is, for the candidates especially, is that the courthouse is within the 100-foot campaign boundary. So that means that during early voting, no one can enter the courthouse through the back entrance. Everyone has to come around the front. People can't even walk down the sidewalk to the post office. So if, for instance, we'll just say Andrea, she's going to the post office, she has to walk all the way around the block just to get there during the early voting period. So that's a challenge for us and for the people here. Another thing is parking. There are about 10 non-handicapped spaces over near the annex. Well, 4-H parks generally in about 4 of those. So that leaves us 6 spaces for all courthouse business and all voters. So what happens is they end up parking in the big parking lot over behind the mayor's office and then trying to walk over. Not a good situation for people, and it's not good for the people that are trying to come in and get their tags and things like that. And one situation we're facing right now is we have no place this time for the City County Board to meet. I'm not really sure what we're gonna do with them. They have to have a private location, they have to be sequestered, it has to be big enough to have, about 12, 15 people, voting machines, for them to do all the audits. We've historically used a room over in the 4H building that's not available to us this time. And so I'm not really sure where we're gonna put them, but we gotta find a place for them. And those are just some of the things that we've got on here. You'll see all of the list that goes on, and hopefully you understand exactly where we're coming from on this, because we're just asking you to help us to help the citizens of Chester County. Now, one thing that I don't know, this group may not be as well versed on it as some, but if you look on page 10, I did want to share with you exactly what the Tennessee law says, the responsibility that the county gives toward elections. If you look at Tennessee Code 2-3-107, you'll note that it says that they shall designate a polling place only rooms which have adequate heat, light, space, and sufficient number of electrical outlets where voting machines are used for the comfortable and orderly conduct of elections. It also tells us that the authority which has the control over any building or grounds supported by taxation under the laws of this state shall make available the necessary space for the purpose of holding elections and adequate space for the storage of voting machines without charge. And then finally, Tennessee Code 2-12-109 says it is the responsibility of the county to fund the operations of its election commission. Now, I really want y'all to understand this is not something that came up because the county is getting ARPA funds. Okay? I think the mayor can attest to this. This has been something we've been discussing for the last 4 years as what we need. And it's, this is the first opportunity we've actually had to come and address the commission overall about the situation that we're in. Now, Mayor Hutcherson did ask us to consider what we would need, and so the last page of your packet is a drawing that has not gone to architects or anything like that, that would just identify what we would need to have everything in one space to accommodate our voters and would meet our current needs as well as our foreseeable future needs. So, again, we're just asking for anything that y'all can possibly do to get us space to do what we need to do for the citizens of Chester County. And we respectfully appreciate the time you gave me to speak tonight. If any of y'all have any questions, I've got members of my commission here, members of my staff here, myself. We'll be more than happy to answer questions. I'd love to give you a tour of our facility, I can tell you. Thank you again so much.
Thank you, Ms. Gadd. Would there be any other questions before she leaves?
Mayor,
Sir?
I think we need to go ahead and bite the bullet and fix those little buildings up down here. It's a good structural building, it's 5,564 feet. I think we need to go ahead and it's going to deteriorate that much further. If it's done.
Well,
And that makes it a good place.
What would it cost to fix the old medical building?
when I have gotten quotes on the certain things that we knew was wrong, they're not recent quotes, they was back in the summer, and roughly on like getting the asbestos out, the lead paint, demoing the inside, getting that took out, and that has to be done in a certain way and disposed in a certain way. And then I got rough estimate cost to redo the roof. Not the whole roof, they said the old part, the building was made in two sections. it was added on to, and he said the newer part, the roof could just be recovered. But the old part, he cut into it and the concrete was damp. And it had been mildewed, and he said all that would need to be cut out, and just the roof alone was $100,000. Now, these are rough estimates. I think we need to look into that a little further and get current prices.
On that building, would you have to have the architect and everything, get that done, or to somebody like,
Now, I did
Edward
speak
Jones.
with Edward Jones about that, and he said there is a possibility, and he wasn't for sure, that he would have to check that maybe just because we was demoing the inside, that it could not have to go through that. But he wasn't sure. He said we'd have to check. But he also gave a price just to remodel in here. He just gave me a rough go when he said at that time, that been almost, 9 months ago, it would be over $100 a square foot just for remodeling. That being said, because of the way prices are and cost of materials, I think we need to check into that a little further before we make any decision. Now, that's my opinion, because prices have drastically changed.
I think, it's just gonna sit there and get worse, and, you don't want to tear it down, because it costs a bunch to tear it down, haul it off, and it's structurally a good building except for the roof.
Okay.
You can go in there and fill the sheet rock off, fill everything down to the studs and everything, and then go from there with it. And you fix it kind of every house somebody wants to fix.
Well, if we could, we'll get a price on that and try to have a price by the next commission meeting, and no more at that time.
We have to, I wonder if it'd have to have a sprinkler system in it.
Over a certain point, which is now the rules, I believe it will.
Probably we're spending over $25,000, you'd have to have an architect, I guess.
Look, Mr. Mayor, because this is something that we don't really have a choice in this. This is not something we would elect to do, no pun intended. But that we have to provide a place to vote and a place to keep the election equipment away from everybody else. I'll make a motion that you come up with some bids for us by the next meeting.
Okay,
To remodel the,
to remodel or...
to remodel the work for the election commission.
Could we, do a cost comparison to see what would be and build the size that we're needing, or to remodel that? A cost
Yes,
comparison.
I would like to just know how much it would cost. If you want to get a cost on a new building, that's fine, but I'd like to know, my motion is to find out how much it's going to cost us to fix up the old medical building to be satisfactory for the election.
We have a motion to get a cost on remodeling versus the cost for a new building for the size that we have a drawing for. And we have a motion and a second now. We don't know a price yet, but all in favor say aye. Any opposed to that?
Mayor, you said prior to our discussion that you would most likely want to assign a few committees to look at some of the things we're discussing.
See, that's what I was going to
This is a primary example of where we don't have enough information to make any progress forward tonight. But it would seem that with all the different demands that we're going to be having on us, that we do have committees that specifically look at what our current assets are, all of our buildings, all of our spaces. Because there may be other things that would work into our plans that would accommodate.
I agree with that, and I believe we need to have a committee for combination on the Harpa selections we have to go through. But for right now, though, we'll continue on with the agenda. Next is the tender loving care. The owner and operator, Ms. Sylvia Flowers.
Good evening to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for this opportunity to make a presentation to you all. I'm going to be very brief, but my task tonight is to locate my paperwork first. Of course, my name is Sylvia Flowers. We currently have a daycare center located on 504 East 4th Street, right on the corner of Blue Ray there on 4th Street, right across from the North Chester School. Tender Loving Child Care Center was established in 1994. We've been in operation for almost 30 years. My major, I enjoy early childhood education. We are licensed in that facility currently up to 20 children, but now we are currently a group center. Now, a group center is a center that houses only 12 plus 3 children, which is 15 children. I am asking tonight that the funding that we utilize be to enhance that building that I'm in now. Currently, during the COVID, the parents would have to sign. We were not able to let them come into the facility, so they would have to sign outside. Now, we offer a first and second shift for the children. The facility there is a 3-star center. We currently have staff that works there. We have volunteers that come, also from Freedom Hardeman that come and help with the children. We also have with the Head Start program where children come after school, before and after school, and a second shift facility. Our time for operation is from 6:30 to 11 p.m. We serve breakfast, lunch, and snack for those children. Now, what I'm proposing to do and wanting to do is to enhance that building right now. It's the old American Legion building. Mayor Patterson, when he was in office, he was so kind, and that staff was there to authorize the use of that building as well. So this facility that I'm in now is a very old facility, but I would like to enhance that. We're needing air conditioner units upgraded, areas where the parents can come in out of the weather, where they can sign in when they drop their children off. The asphalt there on that pavement needs to be replaced. I'm just asking for funding from this COVID money or that you have available to not to leave the child care center out as well. Currently in this center, in this city, in this county, we have been called a desert area for child care. Keystone is great. I had the opportunity to meet the director. We are colleagues and we work together. So what we do is, at this point is, we're working for all of the children in Chester County. And we have children that come from all backgrounds. We offer care for private, state children, children that are in autistic programs, whatever the need may be, we want to meet that need as well. But we want the facility that would represent Chester County. And now that the funding is available, I'm hoping that you all would consider us as well for some of that funding. It's really a wonderful thing. I put together a PowerPoint. I like to talk, and I'm not going to be up here very long, but I said I'm going to put together a PowerPoint. But we have had children to come through that facility now that are working on the police force, they're firemen. That's how long we've been there. They started when they were school-age kids, so they're there. And we just want to enhance the program, the quality of child care in Chester County. That's my passion. And yes, parents do need a safe and wonderful haven to take their children to. And we want to cater to all the children. It's just like Kentucky Fried Chicken didn't close down whenever Jack Turtle opened, or didn't close down with Church's Chicken. We're all in this together. It's good when people have a choice where they want to come. I need that done. I need that building to look good. They'll say this is part of Chester County. So I am asking what we want to do is to just to enhance that. I didn't get a chance to make copies of it to give to you all, but it just kind of gives a brief showing of the children that's there, the parent. We offer parenting meetings. We offer programs that's going to enhance the children, the intervention programs, and we do also programs to assess the children. to see what areas that they need help in. Early childhood development at the age of 6 weeks old, 6 weeks old to 3 years old are the developmental stages of children. And you have to know that when they come in there, that they're in a safe place, a good building. I'm appreciative to Mayor Hutchison and to Mayor King. Both of them came out to look at my facility. They came and they looked, and I want you all to come out and see, and you can see the need that's there. Because we want, like I said, to have quality childcare in Chester County, and we want our buildings to look wonderful and to look good and to be inviting. And I think that this opportunity now, that this funding could be utilized as well to help us do just that. And I thank you so much for allowing me this opportunity. And I stand for the parents. I stand for the parents. I stand for the parents that have brought their children, that's bringing their children to me now, and the grandchildren and the grandparents as well. I told them that I would be here tonight. And they said that their concern was, you go for it. And I know that you all are going to consider us as well for part of this funding source as well. So, and I appreciate your time, and I thank you so much. And let me see if I got any little thing. I think I got 2 more minutes, and I'm going to sit down. I wanted to read this. I wanted to say this. I just want to talk about this just for a second. In 1994, I opened the child care facility here in Chester County. Right next door to it, I opened an infant center as well there. And then further down the street, we did a group center at the school program for children as well. Then in Hardeman County, we opened Destiny Kids Kingdom, which had 65 children there, which catered to the correctional facilities and persons of Hardeman County. And I was proud to say that I'm from Chester County. So, you know, we extended it there. And so in the 10 years, we've had 5 centers. We have had daycare centers and we've had group centers. And quality care while your children, while you're not there. Quality care while you're not there. And that was our motto. We wanted to take care of the children and make sure that they're taken care of. And I want the facility to look very nice. But thank you so much, and I appreciate this opportunity, and I'm going to sit down because I'm a very big talker, and I don't want to take up any more of your time. Thank you so much.
Ms. White, have you got an estimated price of upgrade?
Well, I have been talking to some, for some asphalt and some areas that I needed, and then I did get some figures that I had kind of put together that was needed for that, and the figures that I had on for the asphalt and also for enclosure of that building, and also for flooring such as that, and upgrading possibly some of the heating system and cooling system. It was like $65,000. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. $65,000 was what that. And that was just some of the estimates that I had gotten. Yes, sir.
Ms. Flowers, what is your current, I remember the last time y'all came before the board, prior administration, we had asked about your current status as a nonprofit, as 501c3, or another form of nonprofit. Do you have a current status for that?
What we're doing now, we're doing a DBA, doing business as Tender Loving Child Care Center under the Oasis Community Development Community Corporation, 501c3.
But do you have the paperwork? I remember last time I talked to you, and I recall also having a conversation with others as well as far as being able to provide that.
I don't have that copy with me, but we do have that paper. I don't think. Okay. Thank you.
Ms. Myers, I've got a question. One of my questions are answered every 65,000. You answered another question I had. I've been making notes on that. Is what would you use for? You answered that question. I was at the last city board meeting. Y'all also applied for a community development block grant. If you was awarded that grant, what would that be?
Now, if awarded that grant, that would be an expansion. That would be a expansion to that facility per se, for additional children to enlarge that facility.
So you would be enlarging the facility that you're asking for money tonight to remodel?
No, sir. What I would be doing is adding an expansion to that facility of additional classrooms for additional 45 children. Right now, we only have.
Same building? Or
Yes,
another separate?
it's going to be a separate building.
You're gonna have large facility.
Oh, yeah, it would be the same.
The same goes back on saying, you want $65,000, you're asking for $65,000 to remodel the asphalt, heating.
Yes.
Closing the front door for this building, then if you get the community block grant, you're gonna take that same building and add on to it. Is
That is
correct?
correct, yes, sir. Yes, sir, that is
So
correct.
the community development block grant wouldn't allow you to remodel your existing facility?
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir, that would be for expansion.
Would there be any more questions for Ms. Bobby?
With this form you provided, Commissioner Dallas, 2019, you have current.
That's ongoing, you can check the status.
The status is current.
I understand we have to do our due diligence.
Yes, sir, it is ongoing. Yes, sir, you can check the status with the state of Tennessee. Yes, sir. Yeah. Okay, yes, sir, Mr. Flowers, would you like to stay with me?
All right, that's all. We'll bring that under discussion later. Thank you, Ms. Silver.
Thank you so much.
Next on the agenda, we have the DCU representative.
Yes, I'd like to thank everybody for this opportunity to come out and speak to you about DCU. I'd like to go over the things we're doing at the DCU before we get into the building. We've got 600 kids on average every year out there playing. We've got 25 special needs players playing this year at absolutely no cost. So that'll get you about 2,000 parents, 3,000 grandparents. So every family in Chester County is affected by DCUs sometime in their life. We send kids out of state to play All-Stars pretty much every year. We've been to Virginia, Mississippi, South Carolina, Louisiana, Arkansas, Alabama, Texas. We've had kids in all those states. That's life experiences they never forget, because at the ballpark you come out there any night and some old guy's telling you about back in 1980 when they was doing something. In the last 10 years, we've had 7 state tournaments, 27 district tournaments. We're going to have 2 more state tournaments this July, 3 more district tournaments. We bring more people into this county than anyone except FHU. And we'll bring more people into this county that spend money than anybody. Since 2010, we built a new field. We replaced fences on 2 fields. We bought 13 acres of land. We cleared 2 acres of it for more parking, so this is the second parking lot we've done since then. We do an annual fireworks show for the last 4 or 5 years. We put on a very good show. Most of you have seen it. We're a very big part of this community. Mr. Tracy Martin's got some things of the building he would like to pass out to show you.
I would like to say I thank you for the fireworks show. That is awesome.
July 4th, be out there again. This is a picture of the building that we'd like to build. As you can see, it's got, on the bottom floor, you got the concessions, the storage room, 2 bathrooms, which these bathrooms be big enough for a true handicap bathroom, for true handicap stall, and one of which we do not have right now. The second floor, be a meeting room. office and storage. Some of the reasons we are asking for this building is right now, if y'all been out there lately, the line of the concession stand and the bathroom, they go all the way up the field. The 4 workers is all we can put in there no matter what, because you don't have room for more than that. If you're trying to work in there, you're gonna have to stay here because you can't get over to the other side without rubbing up against the person working there. So it's kind of a 4-person operation, no matter how many people are working something. You don't have room to get in there. Right now, with this rain today, I'm sure we're flooded. That building floods in a big rain. So we'd like to be able to, we'd like to tear that building down. We've got it, raise the elevation about 12 inches. That help with the sewer drain that we have some problems with. And that would stop the flooding. You know, the bathrooms we got now, we try to use the ones behind the concession, but that's just single stalls, very inconvenient. And other bathrooms, the bigger bathrooms that are nice, we remodeled them last year, they're very nice, but they're so far away for older people to get to. It's hard for a child playing on field 4 to run all the way up there during a game and get back before they're either need to be in the field playing or at back. Of course, we want to increase the food prep area. We'd like to swap from propane to natural gas, which would be a lot more economical for us. And this meeting room upstairs, next summer, we're planning on bringing in a tournament for 24 teams. You've got to have a coaching meeting before every tournament, so with the 24 teams with 4 coaches, you're looking at, with league officials and all, about 130, 140 people at a meeting like that. So that's why we need that room there. It'll give us an office area to, to keep our records and then use for business.
The building is 46 by 4 square.
46 by 46. Roughly 2,200. We need to prepare to knock down the existing building in July to get built back by next fall season. And I'd like to show y'all something I brought with me. This is the minutes of our board meetings that Miss Donna Sedham kept. This is from March 25th, 1996. I'll read you just this one paragraph. Nikki Bridges, who was president at the time, stated the current concession stand is in poor condition and the board should look into building a new 2-story building with meeting rooms upstairs. It was suggested that it should be built in front of the old concession stand, giving view to the upper portion of both Field 1 and Field 2, as these are the 2 fields in which tournament play takes place. It was suggested that a possible government grant may be available to assist in the building of such a facility. Motion was made to appoint a committee to investigate and not to spend any money yet the appropriate cost and type building needed. Motion was seconded and carried. The new building committee members are Dennis Stovall, A.C. Stedham, Gary Carroll, and a young Barry Hutchison. We go to 1997. We approved $100,000 to be spent on that building. Well, as we found that there was no grants and the county commission could not afford the help, we started patching that building up. We have patched that building up since 1995. It should have been torn down then. That's 26 years ago, roughly. This is an opportunity right now to do something about it. If we don't do it now, 26 years from now, it won't be me up here speaking. It'll be someone else. But we will not be able to afford to do anything.
What's the cost of your project? Do you know?
Looking at, we put a lot of numbers together. The price of the material, which is terrible, we'll be looking at about $300,000.
Are you asking for all that money from the county, or do y'all have to use your own money to put in?
We're asking for all of it. And the other, and now we're going to do another thing with this money. Probably y'all don't look at it, but the transformers coming into the ballpark are mounted there by the concession stand. All of them transformers and them fuse links are outdated. We can't get no parts for them. So we've been told by Southwest Electric that if they blow, we'll be out till whenever. Or we'd have to buy something new. This would be replacing that, putting a new pad mount in, coming in with underground electricity into that pad mount. We need that done too, because
Is that included in the three?
that is included.
Have you applied for any grants?
There is no grants. We would not be eligible for any grants because to get grants, you've seen ballparks built everywhere. I've been everywhere and seen it. The county or the city has to have a Parks and Rec department, and they have to apply for the grant, and they have to get it. But Chester County, the city of Henderson, they don't have a Park and Rec department, and the cost of developing a Park and Rec department, you'd be at a minimum cost of probably over $100,000 a year time you got an employee, a truck, an office and all that, so, that's probably not something y'all want to look into doing. So, as I said before, this is probably the only way to fund something like this.
I'd like to express something, if you don't mind, just say, right at this time, we have a representative here that might could carry this to Southwest Electric and see if they could help on the cost of the underground on that electric part. We could explain it to them and just ask their board if they would help us also.
Yeah, that'd be good, because years ago, Mr. Johnny Plump would come out there and tell me how, we was living right on the line, any minute, and it was gonna go out on us. We've been lucky, we blowed out, had to cancel games for maybe a night, but Southwest has been good to come out there and fix us and keep us going so far.
Now, I hate to ask another question, but have you, I know your time frame that you mentioned is this year, at the end of summer. Have you anticipated possibly getting the materials? And
Yes.
maybe, if we can make a decision or get you something within a certain time. I know materials now, it's hard to get for that large of a project.
It's hard to get, the material we would be using, the building you're looking at, we're going up with the first floor out of block because the kids are so rough on anything. And then the second story, we build that out of wood and put metal on that for cost. And the block are usually still, you're able to get concrete, you're just not able to get it today. You call up the concrete plant, you put it on the books for next week instead of what you used to get.
I have also inquired about, because of the nature and where it is, if we could possibly count that as a possible storm shelter, the bottom of it, and see if we can help that through that type of grant. And that might be another way to get some money also. And I'll try to be checking on that this week also.
Hey, Mike, while you're doing all the upgrades on the transformers, I'm thinking upgrade the whole lighting system so you don't use as much power. Maybe LEDs on all the fields, changing the bulbs.
The LED on all the fields would be the greatest thing ever. Everybody knows that. But the cost is going to be tremendous, the cost. I have not, contacted anybody about getting costs, but, the the reason we're asking for this instead of lights, we're not trying to be too greedy and ask for all of it, but the reason we're asking this, maybe we can light the bills one at a time, you know, or something like this, but this has got to be built all at one time. But, you know, as our lights get older, we do replace them, and the light that we have out there is becoming obsolete. So we have had trouble getting, you know, lights like that. One company told me last year that they could not even buy them bulbs, but I have another vendor said that, you know, they can give them, they did give them, but, you know, it will come to a point that you will not buy that bulb because it's so, you know, it's not energy efficient, that, you know, it takes so much power for that type of bulb, and we'll do away with it.
More cost effective to go to LED.
I'd like to enter another idea also, and I will try to be in touch with them. I know Freed Hardeman also uses, y'all let the Freed Hardeman use it also, and I don't see anything wrong with asking them possibly for some funding also.
If Freed Hardeman comes in and plays their intramural league in September, October, November, sometime all the way to December, because they don't have enough fields down here for their intramural league. They've only got a field because they won't let their student on their baseball field or their softball field. They only let their student on their intramural field. So they have so many kids that they spill over in the Harpa. So we try to be a good neighbor, let them use, you know, let them use our fields. Because, you know, we're for kids playing ball, whether they're 3-year-old or 23-year-old kids playing ball. That's the main thing. Always remember, we're not out there as a board to play ball. We're out there trying to teach kids lessons, because I've been to a lot of state tournaments, done a lot of state brackets. When you draw Chester County's name out of that hat, nobody wants to face us because they know when we come to play, we're going to do it the right way. We won more sportsmanship trophies than anybody around. We try to teach these kids how to do it. When we leave town, everybody knows this across the state, you know, through this program, because we will act right when we get there, because we act right out here. You know, if our board wanted just to have our kids play ball, we play travel ball. We do this for all the kids. Any kid in the county, you know, we love for them to play here. And that's why we've been able, as other programs have went down, we keep going up. You know, our program is the #1 program in the state of Tennessee. You can look at anything.
Yes, it is good when you have a small county like us and we produce 2 World Series teams in 1 year. That's awesome.
You know, what y'all didn't see on that, you know, we are going to pour a concrete pad around that building too, and put an awning around that building. Keep the people as they're waiting in line, they will be right out there, and there will be an awning for them to be under, you know.
I'd like to make a motion that we do it.
What's your motion?
I know we're saying about making the motion for funding, but we could, I hate to put this off, but can we wait to see what other help we can get in the funding first? Or do y'all, I mean, it's up to the commission. Y'all.
Let's do it.
We have a motion to fund the project of the ball field. Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Al McKinney. This being amount of $300,000, we need a roll call.
We need a discussion.
Well, any more discussion?
I tend to agree that we really, I think it's a great thing, we need to do it. But the $300,000 right now, we might find a way to cut that down by some of the other fundings that have been mentioned. So I would just like to see us put this off until the next meeting to see how much other help we can get. We might reduce that $300,000.
I was gonna say the same thing. Put out another project for committee.
Yeah, we study all this, we're thinking everything before we put it on, because we got a lot of money.
And I'm not against it, I promise you. Somebody texted me today and asked me why I was against it. I'm not against it at all. But we give away $268,000 tonight. We got $3 million, and everybody's gonna be wanting, hold on, let me talk to you, please. I'm not against it. I promise you I'm not against it, but if we can find some other money to help this project, then that gives us more of your $300,000 to go up. And I agree with him. If we can just punt this another month to the next meeting and see if we can find any more money, I mean, I'm committed to try to help y'all, but there's a lot of other people I'd like to see help too.
Well, wait a minute, we have a motion and a second on the floor.
One discussion, would you commit, if we put $300,000, that you'll look for money, and if you do find it, you'll take the other, whatever you say, and put it on the lights?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can get, I'm about improving ballpark, and our board is about improving ballpark. So, yeah, I would love for us to figure out a way to save $50,000, $60,000 on this and put it on the lights. That'd be great. At what I've been told, that just off talking to people, they talk like maybe 35,000 bill to like LED lights. This is not a cheap thing.
You got a motion and a second on the floor, you got a vote on it.
We'll have a roll call. Any other discussion? I got a question. Yes, sir.
For years and years and years and years and years, Dixie Youth would not fill out and turn in an annual financial report that's supposed to be turned in each and every year.
And it wasn't.
And it was not. And I'm not talking about 2 year, 3 year, 4 year. I'm talking about on and on. But I understand now, you are doing it, and I'm proud to hear that. But look how many years the county commission went through. We don't know how much money you got. We don't know if you got a nickel, we don't know if you got $500,000, we don't know. And that's all we wanted to do, just know you might have got more money already.
But for the last 4 or 5 years, we had turned in something. I don't know how many years, there. And before that, was some other things that went on. Here was what we was always told, especially when the county commission was broke. Because it was just a few years ago, we couldn't fund everything we needed to fund in the county. So some of them years, we didn't ask for no funding because the county was having a hard time to do it. But right now, we've got roughly a little under $20,000 is what we've got. That's why I told, that we couldn't really spend that. Our startup cost, to get started is roughly about $10,000 to get started. But then that money starts coming back. But we need an emergency fund with, if something happens out there. Last year, one of the light poles blew down. We had that, probably my fault, insured for $5,000, which at the time we got the insurance was fine. But come to find out, that wasn't near enough. So, you can't go to zero. You can't never go to zero on that. You've got to have some money to start. That's why I don't want to tie our $20,000 in there. But as you've seen, as I've read, we're spending all the county money. That the land we bought, the asking price on that land we bought was $40,000. Well, after 5 years of negotiation, it cost us $20,000 because the owner of that land deeded it to a Catholic church in Mississippi. We got the $40,000 wrote off. Well, the Catholic Church sold it to us for $20,000, but that took 5 years of negotiation. You know, the field we built, the fences we built, we use any money y'all ever give us go to the capital. It don't go to kids playing ball. We can make kids play ball. That's not a problem. You know, we can make that happen. But we need help from y'all, just like we did, you know, every year for a new fence, you know, for, you know, whatever. But, you know, none of y'all's money has ever went towards baseball. Yeah, we make all that happen ourselves. But I can assure you that we'll always turn in what you've been getting, you know.
Yes, haven't we always donated $10,000 a year to fix you?
We have since I've been here, yes.
Is that right?
Yeah, before that, there was a period of about 5-6 years that y'all could, or 4 or 5 years that y'all couldn't afford, that everybody got cut. One year we did get nothing, and one year we got like 2,500, but y'all hadn't cut, and we fully understood at that time. You know, we always having some trouble with the nursing home and different things, lost income there. So different times, you know, y'all funded less or no, but anytime since Mr. Hutchinson's been mayor, y'all have funded the $10,000 every year. And before that, with Mr. Seaton, he was funding the $10,000 too. Seems like, if I remember right, and y'all been on the board, y'all know, it seemed like it was in about 2012, 2013, y'all was struggling to get funding on everybody. But y'all was cutting out all your charitable contributions, you weren't just cutting us.
You know, we have got a motion, and it's second, we got a vote on it. But guys, we got to know what this is going to cost before we can say, how can we say, even they've got a good program and we want to help them? How can we say it's more important than our election commission, or the daycare, or the others, help people come? We approved that, but I think we need to get all these figures together and then us get together to decide how much money we give each one. We don't want to get in the middle of something and can't finish it. But if we gave it out tonight, I think that somebody's going to be short that we don't want to be short.
Also, Mayor, I know when we come to this meeting, we expected possibly to go ahead and allocate some funds. In prior meetings, we heard from other folks that, I know there's some representatives there, I see Dr. Schmidt here, I know folks from Carl Perkins, I know they want another shot at presenting to us. And as you know, those were pretty high up on our surveys as well. So just want to caution the whole group as far as jumping into all this funding without getting due diligence and getting enough proper input from the other folks who have addressed it before, but still have yet to come to us before with any specific numbers and requests for consideration.
I would agree with that. I would like to know the totality of the thing. If we got a budget, we don't have a return on money. And I care very much about Dixie Youth, I'll just let you know. But I do like to know, like you said, there's probably 15 others.
All right, saying all this, anyone else have any comment? If not, we can go ahead because we have a motion and a second.
I would just like to say that I love the Dixie Youth. The first clod of dirt that was ever turned over at that place years ago, my daddy did it, he did the grade, and it's been a wonderful thing ever since. He even sponsored teams. I'm not against it. I just feel like the rest of the others that have spoken, that we need to put this in a planning session as well to find out exactly how much we're going to need for all these projects that's been given to us tonight. But I'm for the Dixie Youth. I just not ready to vote.
So, yes.
Let me ask you something else. Have you thought about sponsorships? Have you tried to get anybody to sponsor or do any fundraising? Any of that kind
Oh,
of?
we sponsor we have,
I know you have people that sponsor teams, individual teams, but have you thought about getting somebody to sponsor the building? You could do a building fund and ask for sponsors for part of it. I don't mean the whole thing. You never know.
you know, and as I go back, we can keep on thinking about how we can do this, in 26 years from now, we'll be back here again.
All right, let's go ahead and take the roll call vote.
Johnny Gardner.
No.
Jerry Lowe. Yes. Kevin Faulkner.
No, not yet.
Al McKinnon.
Yeah.
Andrew Holland.
No.
Jackie Butler.
Yes.
Ann Moore.
No, not now.
Carolyn Higgins.
No, I think we need to discuss all this.
Russell Clayton.
No, not now.
Jerry Emerson.
No, not now.
Sandra Hires.
No.
Joseph Malero.
No.
Barry Smith.
No.
Tim Crow.
Not yet.
Diane Jordan.
No.
Mike Alexander.
Not yet.
Terry Bell.
No.
Todd Lewis.
Not yet.
15 noes, 3 yeses.
I appreciate y'all's time. I really appreciate the opportunity to come up here and speak to y'all about this. Keep Dixie youth in your heart, because you gotta keep kids in your heart. So let's keep it. We appreciate it.
We will consider. We will consider.
Next on the agenda, we have notaries, which we do not have any at this time. So I will entertain a motion for, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, let's stand up.